Hey everyone, today we're going to take a look at Doom the Dark Ages on the Legion Go. Before I get into it though, as of the time of recording, the official Legion Go drivers are not working for this game, so I've actually installed the drivers from the Ally X. And they do work, but there are some challenges which I'm going to get to later. But let's start off the test here. So right now we're at 30 watts, low settings, 1080p with FSR set to quality. And with these settings, we're nowhere near 30 FPS, we're at the low 20s, so definitely not a playable experience here. Keeping the same settings except changing FSR to balance does help things a little bit, but we're still at the mid 20s, so this isn't a real playable experience in my opinion, so we're going to have to adjust the settings a little bit further to make this actually playable. What we're going to need to do is drop down to 800p and see if that becomes a little bit more playable. So at 800p with the same settings, we're in the mid 30s, so this is definitely a playable option, and it doesn't look too bad on this display because it's 1600p, so having it as half of that actually looks pretty decent on the screen. For this next setting, we're going to use frame generation, but I strongly recommend using the AMD anti-lag in the AMD app. And with this on, we can get about 65 frames per second, sometimes in the low 60s, and sometimes above, but a pretty playable experience altogether as long as you're using anti-lag. One thing that I left in the video here is an issue that popped up when I tried to go down to 18 watts, and I don't think it has anything to do with 18 watts itself, but I was finding that the game was crashing, and I did reboot the system, I reboot the game, and I kept getting the crash. So there's an issue here with the drivers, I think, probably because we're using the Ally X drivers. So you may want to wait for some fresh drivers for this game to run properly. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you're curious how this game runs on some other devices, check out the channel. I have tested on a few others. I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you for watching.